Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin coming back at you with another video. Well, it looks like we have to pull this engine off after all. So, let's see if we can yank this thing off. I'm using my Milwaukee M12 3H drive. This is a brushless impact gun, and these things come in handy. Can't always get them in there. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. There we go, go like that. Pop that one side. Get the exhaust bolts off first. Just makes it easier if you have one of these guns, guys. Okay. I'm undoing all the motor mounts first. You hold the engine mounts. I'm putting the bolts, the nuts back onto them as I'm pulling them off. We've pretty much already disconnected everything from this motor that you would take off. And then going from there. You know what I mean? Gonna let me burn. So, let's see if we can get that last one out. That pain in the neck one that's underneath. We'll whirl away. Okay, got that out. Push the bolt through the other side of the frame. Yep. And I thought I was going to have a problem with this because the nuts are supposed to be on this side of the bike because this whole thing is in the way, so they must have put this engine on when this stuff was all ripped off the bike. See what I'm dealing with, guys? The bike is missing all kinds of bolts and parts and pieces too, so that's what we're dealing with. Since we have to take the thing off anyway, we should do that now. I'm removing the Kickstarter cable. And it looks like they welded it. Okay, well, I don't know if they did or not. It might be a lot of crap in there. Yeah, they welded it. So I don't know how they will ever plan on taking this engine off the frame, because clearly they put the engine on backwards, like the bolts on backwards, without any thinking about how they were going to get the, if you ever had to pull it apart again. So, yeah, okay. So now there's only one way to get this engine bolt out, and that is to cut that thing off, which we're going to have to do. We're going to have to cut this engine bolt off and then take it off the rest of the way when we get the engine off and put the bolts in properly from the other side and the nuts on this side. To save time, that's how you remove the chain. Alright. So let's pause you here and then I'll go get the stuff to cut that. Alright. So, to cut this off, I don't have any air tools out here. I don't have any saws or anything like that. So I'm going to use my Milwaukee M12. This is a fuel cutoff saw. And it has forward and reverse. I can change the direction of the way it spins, and you can cut through steel with it. I'm using a 4.0 battery. You can use any of their lineup batteries. So if the sparks are coming at you, you can change the direction of it after you stop. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. So let me just make so you can. Right there. And I'm just cutting the engine bolt in half and I can push it back through the motor the other way. Now it's at the point where it wants to rotate on me. Okay. Like a hot knife through butter. Like nothing ever happened. So we got the engine bolt out, which by the way was not a well thought out plan, whoever put this thing together. But that's okay. So we get the rest of it out. And there we go. That engine's out. Alright, now we're going to take off the exhaust. We have a bolt up top and a bolt down the bottom. Looks like both of them are there and intact, which is surprisingly. Okay, we'll get that exhaust ripped off and go from there. Gasket that popped out. Alright, and then we are out on the motor. And there she is, guys. Engine's out. Let's take that cylinder off. Piston up to the top. Cylinder does not look bad down bottom. Cylinder actually looks in really good shape down bottom. Just the top half. Got some funky grooves in that crank. Guys, it looks like they just did a piston slap on this. There's no damage to the piston at all. However, there are a couple of grooves in this case, in this crank. We gotta pull this thing apart. Some things that start making sense, you know what I mean? Alright, I removed the piston so you guys can see there's some grooves cut right into the crank. There's one, two, and there's one on this side over here, and I don't recall seeing them that, what do you call it there? I don't recall seeing those. Also, too, you can see the piston, the damage is all on the top. So I'm wondering if this was not a lean condition. I wonder if it was debris cut from that crank or something in there, throwing it up. You know what I mean? So, we right back. I'm gonna grab something. Alright, so here is a crank right here. Let's shrink you guys down. And see how it's got the one groove on that side, which is normal. There's no grooves anywhere else on this crank. And this is the way I've always seen them. This is a good used crank. There's nothing wrong with it. It's tight. So I'm kind of concerned about that one. Is that a special crank? Is there something different about that crank used in it? I don't know. But I do have a good crank for this motor. I think ultimately what's going to happen is I'm going to have to, like I said to you guys before, we're going to have to split the case and find out what's going on, because something just doesn't make sense with this motor. It's just not right. Yeah, and then you can tell it's something that's been chewed into it, because it goes from chrome to gold color, and it's been creating, there's something stuck in this engine when they put it together. There's a few problems with this motor, so we're gonna have to strip this case and find out what's going on with this poor G3, because something's just not right with it. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna have to find out. So, well, it looks like we're gonna be doing some more videos on engines, guys. Tearing them down, splitting the case, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of techniques for splitting the cases that I haven't showed you guys on screen yet. So this is a perfect example, because if we break the engine, who cares, right? We'll grab another one off the shelf. God knows I got a few of them. So what we'll do is we'll end up splitting this case in a couple days, getting this thing all cleaned up. I'm going to get this thing out to the machine shop and have them re-nickel coat that cylinder there. Is this thing even been ported or something? No. Yeah, it's got a little damage on the exhaust port. Well, I'll have them take a look at that. No, that looks normal. Yeah, and the transport ports and all that. So we'll have them, anyway, we'll have them go through the whole thing and check it all out. Make sure it's all 100% good before we get it back. Look how nice and open that port is, huh? I think this thing was ported at one time. It's got a really big opening. Anyway, we're going to send that out, have it re-nickel, and then see if I can show you guys this stuff right here with the way the light's been. See the grooves right on the side here. I know the lighting sucks, but it's just really weird. It's like something cut into it. It almost looks factory machined until you start to get right about there, and then it's all, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen those type of grooves before in the crank. I don't know why that would be like that. Doesn't make any sense. Rotary valve looks good. Everything looks good in it. It's not discolored or overheated. That's normal. It doesn't have no up and down play, so I'm assuming it's good. But we're going to take a look at it. Yeah, that I haven't seen on these. So I don't know if this is a funky crank or an aftermarket crank. Maybe they bought a replacement crank, because he did say there was a lot of metal in there. So this could be a replacement crank, and that's a sign of a replacement crank, is the two grooves. You can see, you can really see the silicone that they used. They went nutso with it. Nuts. So we are going to fix it so it's proper. And yeah, they welded this whole assembly on. You can see the welds right there. Looks like they welded both sides. So we're going to leave it. We'll put the new kickstand on it. We're going to use a regular clutch cable. We're not going to use the dual clutch cable. And then we'll go from there. So, and they put a 37 tooth rear sprocket on the bike. So this thing must have hauled butt. And looks, was that the factory front? Yeah, it looks like a 15. Yeah, so they changed some things around on this bike to get more power out of it, to get more speed, if you will. So anyway, we're going to use that ignition system, all the parts and pieces off this engine onto another case, and then we'll fix it and get it right. But there's a few things, like I said, I don't like about this engine that's been really just beat to snot. We have cases, we're going to use them. So no point in keep going with this one. Well, we're going to use the parts from it. We're going to strip the parts out, split the case, and take a look at actual damage and see what we can do to fix and remedy anything. But other than that, we're going to use another case. Alright, so that's the plan for this, or at least that one half anyway. And then while we got this thing all apart, we might just clean it all up, take a hose to it, get it all washed out, flushed out. So well, anyway guys, I didn't think we were going to have to go this far, but apparently we are, and that's okay with me, because that just makes for some more good video and teaching you guys how to split cases, what to look for on the bikes. And that right there is a big and that's a big deal for the channel and for you guys, because I know that you guys work on your bikes and you guys don't want to put your bikes together the way that was put together, because that right there has all kinds of issues and problems. And that's why we do this channel, for properness, to put things together the specification, so this bike right here will have a whole new life left in it. Now I could cheat and throw a whole new engine right on this bike. I've got them. I could throw another engine on this thing tomorrow and just take it right off the trailer and ride it majestically, but where's the fun in that? And then we end up with a motor that has a ton of good parts on it, and I have another motor that was blown up but has good cases. So I'm going to recycle these, because these things are getting harder and harder to find. We can take the other motor, stick it on here, use the parts, the cases and stuff, and then build a good motor out of two motors, and then be all set. So that's the benefits to that. I get asked a ton of questions. Kevin, where do you find these bikes? Where do you find these? I found this one right here on Marketplace. I find them on Craigslist. That red one I found in Craigslist in the free section. It just came up in my area, free scrap metal. The guy didn't even know what it was. And so it was on the property when he got the property. It was up in the back. He didn't care about it. Scrap it. So I grabbed it, and it had a ton of good parts. So even though we're going to be sending that out, it's going to be a few weeks before I get that back, that cylinder, I'm not going to stress. We're going to keep plugging away at the bike, because we still have the back tailpiece to put on. We got the head piece to put on, the headlight assembly, the handlebars. We still got to get all the other stuff working. We still got to do the electrical from front to back, top to bottom. We still got to put the kickstand stuff on, fix the little pin, the little rod in the back. So we have a ton of stuff to do. So we're not nearly done, even though the cylinder's not going to be there. Plus we have the Andrew build bike we have to get back on, because I want to get that thing done. So we have that, because winter's coming, and we still want to start on that ke100 engine, guys. Yeah, don't forget about the ke100 engine. We need to get that thing all situated and set up, So we got the bike painted green, the frame. We got the gauge cluster with a tachometer. That is pretty cool. All LED lighting, 12-volt system. And guess what, guys? The battery that's going to be powering my ke100 build, yes, a Milwaukee M12 battery. These are the batteries that's going to be powering my bike. It is super lightweight, and as you guys know, I was looking for a lightweight battery that can power it. This is a 2 amp hour battery. I could either go 2 amp, or I can go 4 amp, or I can go as high as 6 amp, which is way more than the 6-volt battery that came on these. So we've got the juice. It's lightweight. It'll fit right into the battery box, and I could put 2 of them in there if I wanted to. I can wire these up so that there's 2 2.0 batteries, which would make 4.0. I can do it any way I want. So these are the batteries. It's super light, and it's going to fit right into the bike. So that's what battery we're going to be using on the whatchamacallit there, the ke100 build. Pretty cool, and they're readily available, and will be available for a extremely long time. Because I use Milwaukee, I'm always buying their tools, and they keep the same batteries. They're not like Snap-on and Mac, and they keep changing their battery styles. M12s are M12s, and that's that. So it's pretty cool, and there's only 2 terminals. A negative and positive, not these little 3 right here. These are for charging. This right here, and this one right here. And that's it. So, pretty simple. and I've got a connector that will fit right onto that, that will adapt it to the bike. So pretty cool. Can't wait to do that one for you guys. But yeah, this is not really a letdown, because we knew what we were into when we got the bike. However, I didn't think it was that extreme, but that's okay. We've got the power, we've got the parts, and we've got the know-how. Okay, so anyway guys, I'm off. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please share the channel, and I will talk to you guys later. I'm out.